in my second solo show here at Dirim Art Gallery in Istanbul with the name No Surrender. The exhibition of No Surrender is full now with different kinds of artworks, different medias, but they all play with this unconscious feelings of a human being. It's about the demons, what we have, who could also be friends, but also be enemy, and what we are fighting in our lives somehow, in a visible and also in an invisible way. When you approach the gallery space, what you see outside of the gallery before you come to the entrance is a public art installation, which we positioned there. It's a flagpole which actually you can see all over Istanbul, all over the world. But mainly, actually, we know flagpoles really as a kind of a power tool which shows us the flag as a symbol of a country from a very high position, which is in the wind and always straight and strong. That sculpture is not like that. It became tired. Tired flagpole actually lost its function. It is just tired to be strong. It is just, fed up with the idea always, to be the strongest one and to show everybody where the direction goes on. On that point, I can really, we maybe can feel with the flagpole, and it becomes also from a flagpole of many, many thousands, different ones, to a one which we feel attached to it, which we totally understand because we feel maybe sometimes the same, And but of course, it is a lot to do with my critical approach about nationalities or define yourself over nations, which has always to do with exclude other people from your point of view if they're not fitting in your nation or in that ideology you believe in. As a first view, this is already a statement for myself, what I wanted to put in front of the gallery before the people enter the inner exhibition. So the exhibition starts at the entrance with a mirror work which still is something which reflects you as a human in your whole body, but at the same time, it doesn't show you in a total. It cuts you actually in fragments. It hurts you somehow and it defragments you to somebody else when you look in the mirror. And by moving also in front of that mirror, you're changing all the time. Your face is changing, your body is changing. And the source actually of these bendings or these cuttings inside of that mirror are the bendings of something what we played or we sometimes even still play today. It's like paper planes. So a lot of these paper planes have in common that their form are forms of warplanes. And also the names of the kind of paper planes are also the name of these warplanes like Eurofighter or F-16 and so on. So by unfolding this paper plane, there's a geometric, abstract picture comes out. And this is actually the source of this mirror, which I bend like a paper and rebend it. And these geometric forms are actually defragmenting the viewer. So then the show is going like from the entrance into a bigger space where you have, let's say, at the first glance, kind of classical sculpture. And the roots of that sculptures actually are my hands. And again, like from the content behind of it, we have, again, the time of being children, where a lot of, psychologically rooted roots were like digged into our consciousness somehow, and which are with us our whole lives. And this kind of shadow theater I used in a way that I wanted to change the whole gallery to something very different from the whole atmosphere and the ambient situation, to a dream or something like that, to another world. So the gallery space from time to time, where you can see all these hands with different kind of abstract forms which are folding them, are become then from one moment to the others the source of huge monsters, animals, figures, demons on the wall projected. For me, it was important to break actually that gallery situation somehow. The situation of knowing that space, being also secure in that space, know what you can expect because you see it, to a space which actually comes from behind and it's not expected, and change the whole situation. And there are parallels, of course, also in our lives, in real life, that there are incidences or troubles psychologically, physically, everyday life, in a political way, that we have to face and that we have to see, and that what we can't avoid, but we have to learn to deal with it. And that it's also something which can drive us further and not only oppress us, that we have an inner energy, an inner power, that we can face it. So when we talk about to face it, then we come to a self-portrait, which is over there, where I also symbolically face my inner. The work is titled Me and Me, like me and me. And with my hands, I'm doing again this kind of form of a figure, which I'm not, but I am at the same time, which I'm listening, but also don't have to listen, which I'm afraid of, but also accompanied of, and a friend of sometimes. The other new series of sculptures, what I'm presenting here, are the invisibles. The invisibles are figures somehow which actually came out of costumes. There are costumes who are made to kill other people, nothing else, to hide yourself as a sniper in military or in a combat, and it protects you by not being visible as a target, but also it is an advantage to kill the other one. What I've done actually is to use this material, these costumes which are existing, which are made already, and use them as the skin which becomes from an object to a subject. So by using only that once from a material point of view, it loses the material, it loses the costume, and becomes a figure, maybe a person or something what we can't define by itself. And without, let's say, the persons who are using it, there is no meaning of existence anymore. So For me, at that point, with that sculptures, it was important to, to understand that not the surface is doing the things. It's always about the inner person, the inner body, the person who are making the decisions and using then different things. So we as humans should use our possibility to make decisions, and we shouldn't, hopefully, are afraid of that. So the invisibles became very melancholic in their way of how they're perceived now. So they're just like hanging around somewhere in a corner. They're hanging on quite on the top of a wall. They're lying in an embryonal position. And also there is glimpse of other material now, which I added actually to the original ones, which are from the color a different one, a shining one, something which rejects to be invisible. So in one sculpture, it lies on it. On the other one, it holds it. And on the other one, it comes out of the body. These three sculptures, which are included in that exhibition, are not on main positions by purpose, but holding the whole exhibition somehow as also a kind of, a good ghost inside of the gallery. Further on, I'm showing here the first time, actually, drawings in a larger scale, which I made over a longer period already. So what I've done, that I draw my left hand with my right hand. It was the first drawing or painting, what we know yet about the cave hand, the cave drawing, the cave painting, what you see as a trace of existence in that drawing series, to have something which is so simple but become also through the composition and the layers complex also in the terms of composition. There the layers are very important, because it's never just one hand, it's always about many hands. That means also it's always about different come-togethers. And this overdraw, overlayer, that is something maybe which I was inspired also from something which we witness by the, let's say, political outcry of citizens. So if you don't have the possibility also in a political way to express your words, your thoughts, because it's not possible, the only way is to use the facades of a city in an illegal way and spray that on the walls so that you can leave that as your trace. It's all about actually somehow to have the possibility and the freedom to talk about the things what are troubling us and have the possibility to that. So somehow I have the feeling it came out from these experiences and former works like City Says or police paintings. But it had much more to do also like with attachment to my own body. The last room of the exhibition is two other mirror works, which are like the F-16 and F-15 warplanes, which again, in a combination defragment you in two different ways. What you can hear is actually a very aggressive work, which is the only old work in the whole show. Very old work. I made it as a young artist from an inner need somehow to run away from something or even to run something. I made that not outside, I made that inside of a building. Actually, in a so-called protected space. What you see in the video is a very fast, very physically demanding work where you even can't breathe anymore because as a viewer, you're also running with that person again and again in a loop, again and again, breathless, ruthless where you are. If you're falling, you're just continuing. And you even don't know in what situation you are. Are you chasing something? Are you gut chased of something? So we find with the curator, Levent, that we have to put that also in the show, that it somehow reacts to each other, to the current situation.